Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis Podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find tuning into the Oasis Podcast. This is a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. Subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch us on YouTube now.
Hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to another episode of the Oasis Podcast. Today's episode is the things I've learned to be true. And this one is focused on the truth about birth. So just like the other ones, I'm going to give you guys my experiences and my thoughts on it. Once again, this can be triggering for some, so this is just a warning. Secondly, if you disagree, again, that is your right. However, you can take your thoughts and your comments somewhere else, because I will not be bullied. And thanks. So, first things first, birth does not happen the way you think it will. It does not happen how even your healthcare provider tells you it might happen. It doesn't happen how it happens on TV, or how it happened for your mama, or it happened for your sister or your best friend. It is a unique experience that is going to be yours, that is going to be decided by your body and that baby. So I say that to say, don't get stuck or fixated on how things are supposed to happen. Release yourself from that, because I think, as I talked about in my previous episode about grief, that is and can be a huge reason why we hold on. That can be a huge reason why some of us experience grief of especially the birthing process, because we're like, oh, it's going to happen like this, and I need it to happen like this, or has to happen like that. And when it doesn't, because more than likely it won't, we feel cheated out of experience, or we just feel really down about the experience, not understanding that we don't have control really. It's not in our control. And a lot of people might think, well, just have a C-section and that's controlled. It's not. Even with that, you don't know who is the person who's doing your C-section, how they're gonna do it, right? God willing, they don't harm you and that baby when they do it. You don't know how you're gonna react to whatever they give you to go under. You don't know. There's so many factors you don't know. So there's nothing that is clear cut, like, yep, it's gonna happen like this, and you can't plan it out. So for those of us who are type A personalities, oh, it has to be like this and it's gonna go like that. No. Thinking you're gonna be all cute, your hair gonna be laid, your nails gonna be done, and after birth you're gonna be looking like this and taking your pictures. All that is cute in theory, but the reality is you may not want none of that. I know I didn't. I ain't want nobody looking at me. Don't take no pictures of me. Just leave me alone. Okay, so give yourself the room to be real when it comes to this. It may not happen how you think it's going to happen. It may not happen how you plan it to happen. And that's okay. That's okay. Please, please, please be informed on your rights. Your rights as a woman, your rights as a birthing individual, your rights as a patient. Know what your rights are. Really understand them. Do not glaze over the paperwork. Read them if you can. Read them prior to, if you can get a copy of them prior to if you're getting birth in a hospital, that'd be awesome. That's another thing that I definitely, again, I'm going to toot Ula's horn about, is all that paperwork that you typically get at the hospital, at least most of it, they gave to me prior to giving birth, because they understand when you in pain, ain't nobody reading stuff, ain't nobody paying attention to stuff. And that's so smart. It makes so much sense. So if you can get that paperwork prior to, get it. Read it when you're not in pain. Read it when you're not in the thick of creating a whole human being. Read it so you can read it and know what's in there, and so that someone else, like your partner or a family member or whomever that you allow in the space with you, is not the person that's making decisions just for you, and that you are aware of what's being signed and agreed to. And so that is tremendously important. Know what you can do, know what their policies are, know what you can agree to and what you cannot disagree to. All that is important, right? I talked about, things they do to the baby after the baby's born, or type of methods they have for your pain management, or whatever the case is. Know what the hospital or the place that you're birthing at, if it's not your house, because then you have a little more freedom, but know what their protocols are, know what your rights are, so that you can at least know when things are happening, what you can say, what you can do, and not feel that you're just at the mercy of whomever. Okay? I think that's tremendously important, so that you can feel empowered during this process. And that ties into why also a doula is important, because they can also slow things down when things feel super fast. You understand? They give you that they give you a big piece of your empowerment. And I think they are extremely essential. I am not a birthing doula because I do not have that endurance. God bless them, because I ain't got it. But the birthing doulas, they riders, and they typically been doing this a long time. They've done quite a few births. And so they have a good experience with different hospitals and different centers, and that's important. So they'll be kind of hip to how certain even doctors operate, or how certain nurses and certain floors, they just know protocols and certain things. And so they can walk you through things when things are going too fast. They can slow it down for you and break things down for you so that you can make the best decision. Are you feeling overwhelmed by the demands of life, motherhood? At AJO Consulting Services, LLC, we offer comprehensive wellness services that include personalized coaching, doula care, consulting, and personal professional development to help you navigate this beautiful yet challenging phase of life. Our services are designed to support individuals and communities, especially women, birthing people, and families of color, in creating a more joyful and stress-free experience. From family planning to postpartum care, we provide the tools and resources you need to thrive. Let AJO Consulting Services help you prioritize your well-being and create a healthier, happier future for yourself and your family. So again, if you can afford one, please get one. If you are preconception or early on in your pregnancy, if you can stash away some money to pay for a doula, do so. If your income falls between a certain level, again, I don't have that number with me right now. There are tons of programs if you are in New York that if you fall under a certain income bracket or within a certain income bracket, that you can get a doula for free. And I believe Medicaid now covers doulas. I do believe that some of that was pushed back a little bit. Some of the dates of that might be on the doula side, but I'm not 100% sure if that impacts those who do have Medicaid. But please do just look into it. Don't just assume that you can't afford one. Don't assume that you can't get one. Look into it. You can literally just do an easy Google search. Or if you need some assistance, feel free to reach out. But get one if you can get one. For real. Get one if you can get one. Moving back on to birth. That shit hurts. Right? There is a subset of women that do not feel pain. It's not that bad. It's quick. It's painless. Easy peasy. A lot of us are not those women. Okay? Or birthing people. So please understand there will be pain. Some level of pain. It may not be really bad, but there's a level of discomfort as well. Let me say discomfort, because it may not always be pain, but there is a level of discomfort. So be prepared for that, right? And Also, inform yourself on the type of pain management that you can have. That's important because you don't always have to have an epidural. There are other ways in which you can manage the discomfort and pain that you're feeling. So know what is available to you. That's also part of being informed and knowing your rights. Know what's available to you because they will offer you the quickest, most expensive option first. Okay? You may not want that and you may not need it. And also understand you don't have to take anything. You don't have to if you don't want to. So don't let anybody make you feel like you do. Okay? But know there will be, at the very least, discomfort, if not pain. This is a huge one. Please protect your peace. Protect your peace during pregnancy, especially during birth, and absolutely during postpartum. But we'll talk about that later. But during labor and birth, protect your peace. And that can look different ways. That can be who you have in the room. That can be where you decide to birth. That can be how long you decide to labor at home. That can be what you have in the room with you, right? Things you bring, music, scents, picture, just different things to help you stay centered and focused on the two most important people in the room. That's yourself and that baby. Everyone else, even your partner, they're here to support you, but you are the main star of the show. And I know and I've seen and heard how once that baby's out, mom completely gets ignored. No, don't allow that to happen. Make sure that you are also a priority in that space. And that ties into protecting your peace because make sure people in the room understand that. Okay? So if you need a birthing plan, a labor plan, whatever the case is, to ensure and to make clear that people understand that you are important. Your peace in that moment is important. And whatever that is required for you to maintain that is a top priority. Period. That's it. And don't let no one argue with you about that. The baby is important, but you are too. And the baby won't get earthside without your assistance, without you making certain decisions. So please understand that. Okay? God forbid some things can happen and then you don't have a say, but we're not talking about that. All right? We're talking about you being healthy, conscious in this moment. Things ain't going down without you ensuring that they go down. Okay? Remember that. It ties into protecting your peace, but remember that this experience is your experience. No one, and I mean no one, is entitled to it but you and your partner. Okay? So even if your partner is stressing you out, even if your partner is not going to make your experience the best, do what you got to do. They don't got to be there. And I mean that. Y'all can argue with me if you want to. I don't care. But if that person's going to stress you out, if that person's going to make you feel less than, if that person is going to make you feel unimportant, they ain't got to be there. Figure out a way that they ain't got to be there. If that person is going to cause you any type of harm, and that's mental or emotional, it doesn't have to be physical, they do not need to be there, because what you're doing is so important. Your peace, your calm, your well-being is so important during this time. Don't let anybody make you feel like they're entitled to be there, because they're not. And I said what I said. Okay? That also includes no other family members need to be there. Not your mama, not their mama, not nobody. Like no grandparent, no one else has to be there if you don't want them to be there. They're not entitled to your experience. And that's a thing about, which I mentioned about pregnancy and stuff. People think they're entitled to your personal experience just because they have some level of vicinity to you. And we share blood. Okay. So, and that doesn't mean you don't care about them. Doesn't mean you don't love them, but they're not entitled to anything. You're allowing them access to you and your experience. And so I know a lot of times when we're in these situations, we feel we don't have the right. We feel that we can't say. We feel like we can't do. Nah, you can. You can. No. Make it clear, hopefully prior to you getting to this point, but sit them down and say, this is said with love, but you're not entitled to my experience, and this is how it's going to go down, and I want that, and I need that respected. That's it. And again, if you have difficulties doing this, creating these boundaries, another reason why, get a doula. The right one, baby, will set that up for you, and you ain't got to deal with it. Okay? Okay. Don't be bullied into anything you don't want to do. Okay? And that is coming from either family or healthcare providers. You should not be feeling bullied in this situation. You should not be feeling forced to do anything in a situation. It should be a decision that you want to make. It should be something that you have decided that you want to do. All right? Now, things come up, and sometimes things need to go fast. But even in those moments, you should be allowed at least a minute or two to collect your thoughts with your partner, with your birthing support, whoever that may be, to make the best decision for you. It shouldn't be that, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, you're being forced to do it. If it's for your safety and for your health and that child's safety and health, there's circumstances where, yes, it's not what you intended to happen, but you're deciding to do it because it's for the best. But it shouldn't be someone's forcing you to do this thing because whatever the reason is, but in your heart of hearts, you don't think that's what you actually need to do or want to do. It shouldn't feel that way. Again, doula. And that's what I'm going to say about that. Now, why even talk about this? Why have this episode about this? I feel this point is something that we do not stress enough. There is a thin line between life and death during birth. We like to focus on the life piece. Oh, you're bringing a life into this world. Hopefully. Yeah. That might sound a little morbid, but it's real. For Black women, we always gonna bring it back to Black women because I'm a Black woman. I love Black women. I love women in general, but I'm a Black woman. That is my experience that I'm living. It is a thin line between life and death for us and our babies. So do not take it lightly. It's a beautiful experience. It's going to be wonderful. God willing, you and that baby get through it safely. But that may not always be the case. And that does not mean if y'all do that there won't be some level of trauma that might have occurred for you both to get here on the other side of it safely. So much can happen during birth. As I mentioned in my birth story, so much was happening with my daughter inside of me and I didn't know. She almost didn't make it. So much can happen for you during that period of time. And so much can happen to you after that period of time and your child. The infant mortality rate, especially again for Black babies, is much higher than others for up to the 12 months. So that first year of life, getting your child to that 1 year mark is a huge milestone. Huge milestone. So it's not all said and done. It's not over after giving birth. So understand that thin line continues well after you give birth for you and that child. For you lasts a little longer. For that baby, a good 12 months. Okay? So just please keep that in mind. please keep that in mind. Do not take it lightly. Do not take this process lightly. Plan as much as you can, but also be open to changes, be adaptable, and make sure the experience is exactly what and how you want it. And hear what? I need y'all to come closer. If you don't want to do it ever again, that's okay. That's okay. You had the experience and you was like, you know what? Nah. That's all right. Don't let nobody make you feel bad about that. I remember I mentioned in my previous episodes, for those of you who think that you are the guardians and in charge of people's uterus, back the hell up. Mind your business. Mind your own uterus and testicles, as I said before. Do not fix your face. Do not fix your mouth to tell people to have more children. Do not do it. It's not your business. Mind your business. If you care so much about children, if you care so much about babies and their lives, vote. Make donations to organizations that assist. Go to a family shelter and donate your time. Donate some funds. Donate some supplies, because there's a lot of families and babies there that need help. Foster care. There's a lot of babies and individuals that need a happy, healthy home. If you care so much about babies and children and lives, there's other ways to do that. But do not fix your mouth to tell anyone when and how many kids they need to have. Okay? Thanks. PTSD from labor and birth is a very real thing. It's a very real thing. And thank God, in more recent years, it's being studied and talked about. But I've had and known women in my life who clearly was dealing with PTSD. We didn't know that that's what it was at the time. We just thought these people were angry or mad or whatever, right? Because, of course, why would a woman not have such a blissful experience being pregnant and giving birth? Oh my gosh, right? Because that's what women are made to feel. And so that's why what we go about. And I was one of those people, honestly, for a period of time who thought that until I informed myself, not until I learned more. Not everybody has a positive experience. And they're allowed to have their experience. And it is now being researched. And guess what? It is traumatizing for some people. PTSD is real for some people who experience this. And by this meaning birth, labor, pregnancy. It can be traumatizing. So have grace for individuals and people who've just had a child. Be kind. Be considerate. Stop being selfish and only thinking about yourself and yourself tied to that baby and how you have access to the baby and how you can get to do what you want. No, it ain't about you. And I'm also talking about the partners in some cases. You have your right to your feelings, and there is a level of this experience that is yours, of course. But priority is that birthing individual and that baby for a good little while. Doesn't mean you're not important, but what it means is you need to make sure that those who are directly traumatized, meaning going through the process, because the baby is also traumatized from this birthing experience, that they get a little extra loving and caring. Okay? Doesn't mean you're not important. I want to throw that out again. But you need to give extra love and care to the people who actually went through the physical process. It's different. It's different. It is. Because they had the physical process to go through, and now they're going to have to deal with the emotional, the mental, the hormonal as well. And guess what? It's also okay to change your mind. And if you decide you want to do it again, do it again. That's okay. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed. I probably won't. I'm not fit to do this shit. But there's so many parts of it I don't want to do again. so many parts that I don't want to do again for so many different reasons. But again, I ain't God. Who knows? Lord knows. Who knows what might happen? But as I've probably mentioned before, if I do it again, an alien has taken over my body. Y'all should be concerned. Okay? All right. But no, seriously. If for whatever strange reason I ever decide to do this thing again, this whole process again, understand that it was deeply rooted in some message from God, or one of my ancestors told me I had to do it, because I don't foresee myself ever doing this thing again, because it's just a no for me, dog. But let me move on. And lastly, please, all my women, all my birthing individuals, your experience and your story matters. Share it with others. Please let others know what you went through, good or bad. But again, do it on your own time. Don't feel forced to share it. When you're ready to share your story, please share it. Share all of it. Don't just keep the bad stuff or the negative stuff to yourself and just tell people to. As a new mother, you deserve to focus on bonding with your baby and healing your body. Our compassionate postpartum doula services provides you with the support and care you need. From newborn care to light household chores, our doulas will allow you to rest, recover, and enjoy the precious moments with your little one. Benefits of our postpartum doula services are personalized care tailored to your specific needs, relief from household chores and newborn care, emotional support and guidance, increased bonding time with your baby. Experience the gift of rest and support with postpartum doula services at AJO Consulting Services now. Fluff, because that's not fair. That's not fair to you. It's not fair to them, because you don't know who's hearing your story and how it might impact them, how you might be changing their lives in a good way, even if by sharing your negative story. Please do that for our daughters. Do it for our sisters. Just share your story, all of your story. All the pieces of your story matter. Please, let's stop the silence. Let's stop it. We're human beings. We're humans. Women, birthing people, amazing individuals. It's amazing that we can do the things that we do. And we don't always have the best experience. And it's not always a positive experience. And that's okay. Please, please, please share your story. Let's stop and break this silence that's happening amongst us. Till next time.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis Podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts and YouTube. Rate us and leave us a review and comment on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and YouTube. Share your favorite episode and like us on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, or any show ideas, contact us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. That's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com, or direct message us on Instagram and Facebook.